Hi, I'm Jeff Loeb, CMO and growth strategist at Chief Outsiders. Today, we're talking about how to avoid random acts of marketing. And there's nobody better to learn from than my guest, Karen Hayward, who wrote a great book on this topic full of insights. Karen is a managing partner and CMO at Chief Outsiders and is an expert at helping companies accelerate top-line revenue growth. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you. It's great to be chatting with you today, Jeff.
Yeah, so glad to have you. So let's jump right in. Karen, what is a random act of marketing and why is it a problem?
You know, Jeff, I have spoken to over 50 groups of CEOs over the last couple of years. And I always start my workshops by asking them what's on their mind with respect to marketing and what their biggest issues are. And at the end of their laundry list, I always throw out, how about random acts of marketing? And they all start to laugh and all their heads start to nod. And it is what frustrates them the most as they start to think about marketing is how do they get more deliberate? How do they get more metrics focused and deliberate on their outcomes? You know, we've all been in those meetings where a sales rep rushes into the boardroom and says, oh, we got to go to this trade show. And in an effort to appease everybody and all of the stakeholders, we end up going to that trade show, which costs time, money, resources. We don't have agreements on what the metrics should be relative to the outcomes and what the ROI should be. It's like we're always trying to chase this magical shiny penny. And CEOs are just frustrated that, you know, they're in this never-ending chase of trying to find the right thing to do.
So if that's describes a random act of marketing, what's the opposite of a random act of marketing? What does purposeful marketing look like?
Great question. So I think it really starts with having a really good understanding of your customer, your competitors, and your company. So really figuring out how you can position yourself with a very compelling value proposition, and then deepening your digital footprint in a meaningful way, and then taking those insights and those strategies and then executing. So that will inform how you actually go to market. So you don't end up doing things like spending money on Twitter when none of your target audience is on Twitter.
So what are the three most important things companies need to get right to avoid random acts of marketing?
So I think the three are your ideal customer profile and your target segments, messaging and buyer personas, and thirdly, it would be sales and marketing alignment. So let's go back to number one, your ideal customer profile. You really need to spec out where do you have the optimal chance of winning in the marketplace. So your ideal customer profile is, what segment are they in? How big are they? What needs do they have? So really clear definition on what that ideal customer looks like. Is it a certain job title? Is it in a certain geography? So that everybody from a sales and marketing perspective can focus where we have the highest opportunity to win. The second thing is once you have that focus, now we want to make sure we have a compelling message. And the message isn't what we think our message is. It's a message that's been developed because we've understood what our customers value most about us. So compelling messaging is critical and really understanding how our buyers tick. And then the last thing is sales and marketing alignment. And that's probably the nearest and dearest to my heart because I've been on both sides of that equation. And when you have really good sales and marketing alignment, magic happens. So we've got agreement on what are all the job titles that we are going to consider leads. What are the company size? What is the top line revenue of a great prospect or suspect? what is the right geography. So you get all of those agreements in place. What problems does the suspect have to have said they have, so that when sales gets a lead from marketing, it's something that they have a high degree of confidence in and can, will prioritize an action.
So what's an easy way to get started with a more deliberate approach to marketing and building a growth engine?
So I think there are a couple of ways, but the one that I would focus on is really the digital landscape, because in this COVID world, the one thing we know is your buyers are spending more time developing their awareness of the solutions that are out there and are evaluating solutions out there. So if your digital footprint isn't top drawer, you're going to lose out on opportunities. And so a digital analysis really covers 6 different areas that you need to spend time reviewing and understanding. The first one is your web traffic. What is the sum and the source of your traffic? Are people finding you because they're searching your company name, which is a branded term, or because they're just searching for a category? Understanding how your website is performing in terms of its bounce rate. And are you getting referral traffic from other sites? So that's number one. Number 2 is search engine optimization. Are you sharing relevant content out there that is allowing people who are looking for your service to find you? Third would be digital advertising. So are people finding you with paid search, and are you able to get an ROI? Are you spending the money correctly, and are you positioning the ads correctly? The next category would be social media. Do you even need to do it? There are a lot of companies that have agencies that, because the agency has social media capacity and capabilities, they say, well, we'll throw it in and we'll do social media. So is there a relevancy for you? And if there is, then there should be a solid plan in place. And finally, the last item that you want to look at is your web content. Does it accurately reflect the competitive positioning versus your key competitors? Does it accurately reflect the problems you solve with your set of product and services? And does the site solve the top objections that your buyers are seeking to understand as they go through and do their research and evaluations online? So 6 key areas that really, if you do an in-depth review, you will come away with a lot of insights that you can action very, very quickly.
Well, that's terrific, Karen. Thank you very much for sharing your insight and talking about how to avoid random acts of marketing.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for chatting with me today.